Brought to you by every damn cheesesteak joint in Philadelphia. This is the Philadelphia Sports Porch with your hosts, the Grand Schwabini and Rube. Come on, Philly. Show us a little Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, and Sixers love. The Philadelphia Sports Porch starts now.
All right, Ruby, welcome back from Colorado. You enjoyed your time watching some concerts there last week?
Yes. It was wonderful. We got to see our daughter out there. She lives out in the Denver area. We went to Rocky Mountain National Park, which was just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And really the other big reason was we went to Red Rocks for the second time.
Nice.
I don't know if you've done it. You got to do it.
I've never been there.
Take Amy May, go look at the schedule, go find someone you both like, go crack your wallet open and go there. And I promise you will not be disappointed.
Yeah. Hey man, under a blood red sky. It's where it all started.
That's right. I forgot all about that. Big U2 fan, of course.
Yes. All right. Well, welcome everybody, one and all. We are approaching Philadelphia Eagles season. We are approaching, hopefully, the Phillies playoff season. Sixers and Flyers will be getting underway soon. So we're starting to get back into the time of year where all the sports are going to be firing at the same time. You are watching the Sports Porch Philadelphia. We come to you live on X, which is at Philly Porch. You can watch us on YouTube at Philadelphia Sports Porch. Also, you can watch us on the Philadelphia Beautiful Facebook page and the Sports Porch Philadelphia Facebook page. And we drop everything into a podcast after the show, and you can watch us or listen to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Rube, we got a lot to discuss, right now. I think probably first and foremost, the Phillies are making their playoff push. They just went on an incredible 9-game win streak. It was a lot of fun, especially with the big comeback down 4-0 and down 2 outs in the 9th inning. They storm back, tie it up with a bases loaded double from Sosa. De La Cruz singles in Sosa to tie it up. And then you've got the Schwarbomb going over the batter's eye in center field with a walk-off. First time the Phillies had a walk-off since Schwarber did it a few years back, which is a little surprising. So they've been playing great. Let me ask you a question. Sorry to interrupt, but let me ask you a question.
Yeah. I wasn't able to watch it. I don't get to watch as many games because I'm just not local.
Yeah.
Were you watching the game? Were you watching it live? And if so, take me through going into the 9th inning. What were you thinking? Were you like, I'm ready to turn this off, or just I've watched this long, let's play it out? And walk me through the emotional cycle of the Grand Schwabini going into that 9th inning.
Well, here you go. Well, I wasn't able to watch it live on TV, but I have I'm listening to it on the Odyssey app.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
So, I'm listening to it on the Odyssey app. I just got back from Trader Joe's and Whole Foods. So I'm emptying out some good food into the fridge.
Yeah.
And look, when I got out of the car, they were down 4-0 with Harper on second, and there were 2 outs. Okay.
Okay.
So I go into the house, and it did dawn on me, like, do I even need to check on this? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, I just figured, all right, while I'm putting my groceries away, I'll put the game back on, because once you get out of the car, you kind of lose it for a minute.
Yeah.
So I put it back on, and then I basically hear Crawford gets the walk to load the bases, and I'm like, okay. I mean, bases loaded, Sosa's up. He likes to kill his old team. And then I hear the at bat, and I'm like, all right, nice. But then you're thinking like, well, 4-3, they'll probably just come up a little short here. And then De La Cruz, with the RBI single, we're all tied up, and now we got Schwarbaum coming up. It was just like a delirious, fun, just kind of like, going like this and going like, woohoo, just
for those of you who are listening and not watching, the Grand Schwabini just gave a fist pump.
I gave a fist pump. So it was exciting. It was really exciting. I mean, the cool thing about the team is the team does not quit. The team plays till the very last out, and they were down to their last strike 4 times in that 9th inning.
I didn't hear that. My goodness gracious. Yeah. That's an interesting data point. Down to their last strike 4 times.
Yeah. And then, what's interesting, I don't know about you, but so what I do is, I basically have, anybody that's like a Philly sports guy, locked in on my Twitter. So I go right to Twitter or X, and I watch all the highlights, and then I keep watching them over and over and over again. And then I'll finally I'll find one that's better. You know what I mean? Like where you get okay, this person actually, caught more of the celebration. You know what I mean? So stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm probably doing that for like a good half an hour.
Okay. So let me read this back to you.
Yeah.
Whole Foods and Trader Joe's. So didn't realize you were such a foodie. Come home, celebrate with just an unthinkable W. Tell me, what was the highlight of the food that you brought home? Like, what does the Schwab family have in their house that you're just like, you know what? This just became a great day, became an even better day.
There's a few things that I particularly like from Whole Foods.
All right, I want to hear about them.
One of them being, these like Asians Thai sesame noodles. With the cucumber in them. They're like a touch spicy.
Oh, okay.
I got that. Mainly I was going because I wanted to get, I needed cookie butter for my dog, who likes to take her pills with cookie butter.
Cookie butter,
which is kind of like a peanut butter kind of thing. And Trader Joe's has it, and she just loves it. So that was kind of the main reason why I had to go out, because we were out of it. So I do that, and then I pick up, and then I decided, well, we also give her rotisserie chicken. We put it on our food every day. Okay. So Trader Joe's doesn't do rotisserie chickens. So then, there's a Whole Foods like a mile away from the Trader Joe's. So I had to go in there, to get some, to get a rotisserie chicken, which Whole Foods makes really good rotisserie chickens. But the bottom line is that, once you're in there, you gotta grab a few extra things here and there.
Oh, yeah.
Got a great honeydew. Quality.
Yeah. Honeydew's got a skin on it, so you don't have to worry about poisoning you. Okay.
Yeah. Honeydew was, stellar.
Stellar honeydew. Are you a honeydew guy or are you a cantaloupe guy?
I'm a hard honeydew guy. Huh? I mean, I don't even know why cantaloupe even thinks it's in the conversation.
Well, we're actually been on a big watermelon kick at the Rubenstein house lately. It's quite refreshing.
Amy loves the watermelon.
Okay. All right.
I like the watermelon. It just, it does. I feel like it lacks a little something.
Okay. Anyway, we digress. Wonderful streak. And listen, you're just kind of waiting for it all to come apart. And holy cow, did it come apart last night? What you look at Zach. Watermelon party. Lemmer likes a good watermelon party. Inside joke at the Rubenstein house. But yes. So 9 game. What was it? A 8 game winning streak? 9 game winning streak. And Wheeler coming to the hill, not having a particularly good showing since the All-Star break. 0-4 with a 7 ERA past the All-Star break, which is some reason to concern, and just get shelled and they give up 3 home runs to Cal Raleigh, who looks like a softball player. What happened? What do you think's going on there?
Well, look, I think we're kidding ourselves if we're not a little concerned about Zach Wheeler here.
I agree.
Look, look, Zach Wheeler says he feels fine. Reports are he hasn't lost anything off of his fastball, so he's still throwing it good. He's not locating his other pitches outside of his fastball, so he's up in terms of walks, which obviously really hurts any pitcher. Mm-hmm. I sort of feel like this is what it is. I feel like it's sort of like a fatigue factor is catching up with him. He battled back from this, thoracic outlet surgery, didn't know what he was going to be when he came back, but obviously dedicated himself to his recovery, 110%, comes back just as dominant as when he left, and remains that way for probably about half of the season, comes back after the All-Star break. I sort of feel like it's like that he's hit a wall.
Yeah, it's gotta be. It's either that. I haven't looked at the stats on his velocity as of yet, but you're right. I mean, he's walking more than we would expect, and he's given up a lot of home runs as well. Right. He looks like Nola out there. Right. So I don't know if you could be right. It could just be a post, the second part of the season fatigue. It could be he got in his own head during the All-Star break with all of that nonsense that he went through. I don't know. Maybe he's tipping his pitches. Who the heck knows? Right, but it's clearly not the Zach Wheeler we get. Now I'll give you the other side of the coin. I think the other side of the coin is that especially for people who any team, it's 162 games. It's really difficult to be a top pitcher through 162 games, season after season after season, especially after dealing with the injury and the surgery that he had. We're seeing kind of the same thing with Sanchez, but guess what? The other part of the bottom part of our staff is starting to pick it up a little bit. Luzardo's been consistent, like exactly what you want out of your number 3. And all of a sudden, Nola looks like he's a young man again, and Painter seems to have figured some things out. And it's the same thing with the hitting, right? You're going to have ups and downs in hitting. So my hope, I'm going to kid myself just a little to kind of use your words, is that, hey, it's a bad run for Wheeler. He'll figure it out. He's a veteran. He'll figure it out. And in the meantime, it just gives the rest of our pitching staff the opportunity to step up. And I'm going to see that as a good thing. We'll see how it plays out. But you're right. You'd be kidding yourselves to think that 0-4 and a 7 ERA since the All-Star break. What do they say? 1 point's a point, 2 points is a line, 3 points is a trend, 4 points.
Yeah. I mean, they've done this before, though, where, they'll go to a 6-man rotation to give them a little more rest. Or what they'll do is, maybe just put him on the IL for like a 10-day, just give him a little rest. I just think he just needs a little rest, kind of reset, kind of get back to work with the pitching coach, make sure your arm angle is right. And, make sure your
mechanics
are right. And I feel pretty confident that he'll be ready to roll come October. I feel pretty good now that the Phillies are going to make it. They got a 4-game lead on, the first team that's out of the wild card. But then again, I mean, look, there's probably about 30 games left. All you have to do is go on a 4 or 5 game losing streak, and all of a sudden you're out of it. So
that's right. I'm not ready to put him in the playoffs yet. I'm ready to feel a little bit better. Especially with some of the guys starting to hit, like Bohm all of a sudden is becoming an all-star player again. But I'm not ready to put him in the playoffs quite yet. They got to show me a little more. But they do this every year. Right? Remember last year we went on the big streak. We swept the Dodgers. Everything looked great, and then we kind of limp into the playoffs and kind of fizzle out. So we have reason to. I don't have any reason to believe that this year is going to be terribly different. But listen, I'll support the team and be excited when they win.
I mean, look, I think there's one thing that I'm seeing that is a little different. And what that is I really believe since the arrival of Luis Ariz,
Yeah.
I think his approach at the plate is contagious. And what was really interesting was it was like the month of or like, whatever, like the last month, like from after the All-Star break to like, August, I don't know, 14th or something like that. The Phillies were like, I think they were like first or second in the league in runs scored, and they were actually like 30th in home runs. So
which is the complete opposite of what we've been for 5 years.
Right. So, we're getting hits, we're moving players over. Like for example, and guys like Bryce Harper now with Ariz giving him some help behind him. He's got like an on-base percentage over 500 since he's arrived. So I'm just like looking at little things like this is the kind of stuff that wasn't happening that happens kind of all the time now. Like let's say Schwarber and Turner, go out and you're already 2 outs down in the first inning. Then you get Harper walks, Luis Ariz singles. Then you've got first and second, and then it's up to like a Bohm or a Marsh or a Stott to get a single and get a run on the board, and we're doing that fairly consistently. So that is the one thing that I think we're doing differently. We still obviously have some trouble with Trey Turner at shortstop. I mean, he reached 20 errors yesterday on the season. But believe it or not, I'll tell you what, though, one thing that I'm really pleasantly surprised about is no one else who has changed positions has had any issue at all. If anything, Stott looks like a really, really good third baseman, and the talks are he should be playing there full time. Bohm has been fine at first.
Was he a third baseman before he came up, Stott, or was he a shortstop?
He was kind of like a second and short mix,
Okay,
but he can really pick it at third, and he's also got a little bit more athletic ability, so he can get to a few more balls at third than Bohm can. Bohm really has been like a nice big target to throw to at first base. Harper's done well in the outfield. He's not making any bad plays. He's actually made a few diving / sliding catches. So it really hasn't, the fear that we had was that, changing everybody's position could be problematic, but so far it really hasn't been.
Yeah, that's good to see. We were nervous about that. And I tell you what, I was just looking at some stats kind of before and after the All-Star game for the Phillies. It just talks more about kind of the shakeup, like we've been talking about, but doesn't really give us any kind of metrics or data. But your eyes don't lie, right? It appears to be a better defensive team even with all the shakeup. And you just listen, we're going to live and die with Turner at short, and that's the bottom line. So we just got to hope for the best that his errors don't come at a time where it's going to kill us. But you just think about this team, right? You think about what they weren't doing well or what they haven't been doing well historically, or at least this year. The bullpen is the bullpen, right? The fielding is some of the worst in baseball. The starting pitcher, at least the bottom of the rotation, was terrible. Base running mistakes, so on and so forth. So, what have you seen during this streak that leads you to believe that those things aren't going to come back?
Well, I mean, look, I think that chances are, I mean, if you had to bet your life on it, those things are going to come back to haunt you, right?
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to win. The things that I will say lead me to believe that they have a chance are, number one, I like sort of the new approach to hitting since Ariz has arrived. Number two, And this is why it's really important for Wheeler and Sanchez to kind of get back on track. A Wheeler, Sanchez, Luzardo top three can win you any series, right? If they're playing to their highest potential. And then I'd say the last thing is I feel like the team, again, is playing with energy and a sense of fun. And like they've got a little bit of a feeling of the magic is back again. And I know that might be just sort of like, hokey pokey. But the bottom line is
it hokey pokey or hocus pocus?
I don't know. But the bottom line is, when these guys actually do believe that they're never out of a ball game and they start winning games in that fashion, that's a group that can potentially make a run. So look, do I sit here today and say this team is going to win the World Series? I don't, but I will say this team can win the World Series. And so that's why we'll be watching.
Very good. Very good.
All right. Now let's move on to the Birds. This basically right now, as we're speaking, the Birds are having their open practice to the fans down at the link. Friday night, they'll be hosting the Bengals for their final preseason game. And come Sunday, August 30th, the Eagles will have to get their roster down to the 53. So in talking a little bit of 53-man roster here, I wanted to bring up, and we were talking before the show about this backup quarterback position. And I'll tell you what, Rube, this is one of the first. I'm a huge Howie Roseman fan. I mean, how can you not be? The guy's won 2 Super Bowls with 2 different quarterbacks and 2 different coaches. The guy makes incredible moves left and right. Misses on a few, but most of them are good. But I'm very confused. I was very confused from even the beginning when they brought Andy Dalton in. I just don't really understand why he's here. Are they that disappointed with Tanner McKee's 1 start at the end of last year? I don't really understand it. Do you?
Well, the only way one of the ways I can explain it, and you've heard Howie talk about this over and over, you can never have too many quarterbacks, good quarterbacks. And so the thought is you get an Andy Dalton. He is a proven veteran, and maybe he helps push McKee to become even better. Right? You can't make a judgment off of 1 game last year. Let's be fair. So from the perspective of, all right, you get Dalton, he could be really good, and you're probably going to trade one of them, right? They're both not going to make the team. So someone who's looking for a quarterback or struggling or loses a quarterback early or what have you, you're likely going to have leverage when it comes to trading either one of them. So you're obviously going to keep Hurts. You're going to keep one of them, and then you're going to keep the kid, right? The kid from where's he from? North Dakota. Cole Payton. Yeah,
right.
Wherever he's from. Just he'll probably be the practice squad QB.
Right, the emergency QB.
Yeah, that's right. So my feeling is that there's method behind the madness there. So
maybe, but here's the thing. I mean, Tanner McKee has been so much better in the preseason than Andy Dalton. I just, and Andy Dalton, look, Andy Dalton's 38.
Is he that old? Is he that old?
He's that old. I mean, at some point, this guy's not going to really be able to play anymore. And I think it's now. So I just sort of don't get it. So if you really think about it, last year we're coming off a Super Bowl victory, and we're just fine having Tanner McKee be our backup the whole year. I don't understand why we needed to bring in Andy Dalton.
Different OC. OC.
Maybe that might have something to do with it.
Mannion's offense may, be be a good fit for Dalton. Maybe this was an opportunity for Dalton to show something if he wants to. These guys played at 40 years old now, and let's face it, someone's going to be desperate for a quarterback within the first 2 weeks of the season. History tells us, unfortunately, these guys get hurt. And so I think having that as leverage isn't a terrible thing. And Dalton's not a terrible quarterback. He's been a good, not great, not bad. He's been a good NFL quarterback. I don't think there's anything wrong with bringing him in and seeing what he can do. And if we can get some trade value out of him, great. If not, you move on. So,
all right.
But I see what you're saying, right? I can see both sides of the coin on this one. But if given the choice, Tanner McKee is my guy. You know that. So
yes, I know.
I hope they keep him.
Yeah, I hope so too. Another question that I have for you is Makai Lemon has missed a lot of practice with a hamstring this preseason.
Yeah.
He's back 100% in practice. He's on the field tonight. Would you play Makai Lemon in the preseason game, or would you just save him for game one?
I think you save him for game one.
See, I take a different approach. I think you get this guy out there. Let's get some kinks out. Let's run some routes against some NFL, worthy secondary players. I want to see him do something. I'd
rather see him do something in like games 5, 6, 7, and 8, and be fully healed than going out and tweaking a hammy. Just like everybody else, we've watched sports a long time. He's 100%. He tweaked the hammy again. This is our first round pick, bro. I think he's got to be in perfect shape to go out there and play. And I don't know. Hammies are a tough thing. It's disappointing, right? If you look at the wide receiving core now, you're like, all right, who your starter is going to be? If it's not Makai Lemon,
Dontavius Wicks.
Is it Dontavius Wicks? And Devontae? Does Stowers get some more playing time? I don't know.
That's actually another question I wanted to throw your way.
Yeah.
Do you have concern about Eli Stowers? Reports are he's not a very good blocker, which we already knew.
We knew that.
But he's not a good blocker. He's also not really making plays in practice or in preseason games. And so I've heard some people talking on the radio about him that he might be kind of unplayable right now.
Really?
Does that give you any concern?
Gives me a lot of concern. He's our second round pick.
that gives me concern too, because I was expecting really big things from him.
Well, listen, let's not write a kid off after one preseason. Right. So I don't put a hell of a lot into the preseason. Although here's what I'll tell you. I may have watched 1 or 2 games this preseason, or parts of 1 or 2 games. And the other guy that came from USC who played the Eagles, right?
Right.
I forget the guy's name, and I forget what
I
team
know
he
you're
was
talking
on.
about, but he's looked really good. The other receiver.
Damn good. He looks damn good. So Makai was the 1, and this guy was the 2. Let's give him time to get healthy, and I think he'll be fine. So that goes back to my argument of let's play him when it matters.
Now, is there anything you want to say about AJ Brown and the joint practices with New England, with his talking to Hurts for show, probably in the middle of the field? And any thoughts on AJ?
No.
Do you want me to present thoughts?
No.
Okay, we're moving on.
No, please do. I'm so sick and tired of that guy's name being in my mouth. Have at it.
Well, I'll just say a couple things. First of all, he played very, very well in the practices. He pretty much ate up Quinyon Mitchell. I don't know if Quinyon was, basically like starstruck or didn't want him to feel bad because he was, I don't know, but he did very, very well in practice. And so much so, somebody on the radio said, and it really kind of hit me, like they said, after watching AJ Brown in these practices, it just makes you realize just how uninterested he was when we were in a playoff game.
Which is sickening.
Which is absolutely sickening.
And it's not like they're throwing different routes to him. It's slant, and it's the stop and come back, or whatever they call that.
Right. Stop and go.
The old button hook, or the stop and go. Now, has it made you also think that maybe they have a better quarterback than we do?
No.
Okay.
Because I also saw AJ Brown catch for like 1,600 yards with Jalen Hurts when he cared.
So you think it was more care? It was more will than anything else.
Yeah. I mean, well, think about it this way. Look, the issue is obvious. The issue 100% is that AJ Brown does not like Jalen Hurts anymore. And it doesn't have, I don't believe that it has to do with football. Maybe there's an inkling of he thinks he could play with a better quarterback, but I don't think it has to do with football. I think he just flat doesn't like him. Yeah. Probably due to some of those stories that we heard through the grapevine. Like they asked AJ after the first practice, have you spoken to Jalen yet? He said, no, I haven't spoken to him since I was traded.
Okay. Listen, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah. He goes out and gives him a hug and a high five. They're seen, laughing together at midfield, like, we're all trying to move on here. I don't know. I've had enough of AJ Brown. Let's move on. Quick question for you. Sean Mannion, our new offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but he has, on one team that he's been with, he has been on the sidelines. And with another team that he was with, he was in the booth. And so I guess he's going through a decision-making process. Where should I be? The first preseason game, he was on the sidelines. The second preseason game, he was in the booth. Do you think it matters where a offensive or defensive coordinator is during the game? And where would you like to see Sean Mannion?
My initial gut says I'd rather see him on the sideline than in the booth, because I think it's obviously easier to coach up your guys if you're seeing the tendencies and you can talk to more than just one guy at a time, right? So my initial instinct says be on the sideline. Kellen Moore was on the sideline, right? We won the Super Bowl. Doug Peterson was mostly the OC for the year we won the Super Bowl. He was on the sideline.
Yep.
I say sideline.
But then again, probably the best example of in the booth is Vic Fangio.
Vic Fangio is the defense. I think the defense I don't know. I don't have a well thought out response other than I think our defense is probably more seasoned. I don't think, how many different defenses are you essentially going to call, and do you need to talk to your defense all at the same time, or do you just need to talk to the green dot guy to get them all aligned? Yeah. As opposed to the offense has to move together like a well-run orchestra. And if the offensive line's not doing what the running back's not following or going into the right hole, or the quarterback's not seeing something I think there's an opportunity to coach that on the fly. And let's face it, I'd rather have Mannion down there doing that than Sirianni getting in the middle of it, because we've seen that movie and I don't want to see that again. So I think Fangio's doing just fine. And listen, let's face it, Fangio's done just fine being in the booth. And essentially we have the same main players on our defense that we had, going back a couple of years ago. So whatever Vic's doing, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Now,
what do you think? Up, I want to know what you think. So what do you think?
I think, well, here's what I think. I personally think if it was me, I would want to be on the sideline. I would want to be able to talk to the guys face to face. But then I'm also just going to sort of throw in there that they looked much better in the second preseason game as compared to the first preseason game, and he was in the booth. So I don't know. I mean, I guess only the coaches really know. I do think there is an advantage to being up top and seeing how the plays unfold, which you can't see at game level.
But you got guys up there.
I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess, if I had to pick or choose, I would say be on the sidelines, and run the team.
Okay.
So now, just before we finish up on the Eagles here, is there anybody that you think could be a surprise, either a surprise cut or a surprise makes the initial 53-man roster?
Nothing jumps out at me other than, boy, it would sure be a surprise if this kid who never played football makes the team. He probably won't. He'll probably be a practice squad. But
I don't know about that, because everybody knows about the guy now at this point.
Yeah.
He might be hard to get through.
Okay. But still, there's no body of work that you're taking an absolute chance, like we took an absolute chance. So that'll be interesting. I think the other one that I am always really torn on this guy is I can't stand watching Keely Ringo play cornerback anymore.
Yes.
But we always come back to, well, he's a hell of a special teams player. Special teams is really important. I get it. So I wouldn't be surprised if kind of the Eagles have lost patience with Keely Ringo, good special teams or not. So that may be one of the surprises. And here's the last one. I'm gonna give you one more.
Okay.
My most important player ever is Jake the Snake Elliott.
Yes.
There's been no competition at that spot. He's arguably been one of the worst kickers in the NFL the past 2 years.
Right.
How long do you think his leash is?
I think it's long. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because now I don't know that you'd call this a surprise cut.
Okay. All right.
But they've only had one long snapper in camp. This Rocco Underwood. Rookie from Florida, I believe.
Yep.
And I have heard that he's been a little bit up and down with his snaps.
Ooh, okay.
So it wouldn't shock me if he gets released and they bring in some veteran guy. And it also wouldn't shock me if they go with Rocco. And if Jake doesn't do well the first couple weeks, they'll blame it on Rocco. They'll blame it on Rocco. Yes. Now, as far as a few other things, Keely Ringo, I think he's probably maybe a candidate to be traded even, somebody wants a good special teamer, thinks maybe they can do something to develop him. Maybe we can get a 7th round pick back, something like that. That's a possibility. I think that this Joseph Waru is going to make the team because he's been, racking up some really good stats in the preseason. I think that UAR Bernard is probably also going to make the team, simply because I don't think they want to chance him on the practice squad.
I'm gonna have a hard time with that, man. What the kid has never played football, making a 53-man roster, and you want to play for the Super Bowl? Come on.
Hey, look, the guy had 2 tackles in the last game. I mean, the guy's an absolute monster.
Okay.
Right. And the one guy, look, I think it's highly unlikely that this guy is going to make the team. But I've got a path for him.
Do tell.
Carson Steele, my favorite training camp hero.
Okay.
And this is, I think, where he could make it as a path.
Okay.
Can they turn this guy into a fullback?
Isn't that what he's playing anyway?
Because he's short and stocky. And I'll tell you what, man, he can catch the ball and he can run. He's got some moves. I think this is a guy that if you cut him, he gets picked up by somebody. I think somebody signs him to their 53-man roster. Maybe he goes to the practice squad the next week, but I think somebody is going to take a flyer on him because he really looked like he can play. And look, would he have much of an impact with our team? Probably not. But, in the past anyway, the Eagles have sort of liked that fullback role. And I think that he could do that and actually give you some surprising offense in addition to that. So I'd like to see if Carson can steal his way onto the roster.
Wow, did you write that all yourself?
I did. No, actually, I saw a couple other headlines, similar to that.
Okay. All right, got it.
I'm okay. I'm being a little goofy here. All right. So
Goofy's okay.
Let's go to the Sixers. Just so you know, Sixers are still a little bit of ways here. Camp starts.
Before we go to the Sixers, what should our fans expect from what should our audience expect from us next week if we're talking about the Eagles, right? So we're a couple weeks away from the season.
Yes.
What are we going to talk about next week?
Well, next week will be the week before our first game.
Yep.
So next week we will be doing our season predictions, our Eagles season record, going through every game by game, and who we think is going to win each division, who the wild card teams are going to be, who's going to end up in the NFC and the AFC championship game, and who's going to win the Lombardi Trophy.
Okay. All right. I'm excited already. I'm watching.
Yeah. I'm participating.
Although we were god awful last year, weren't we?
No, I think we did all right. We did all right.
The records were good. How we got there wasn't so good.
Correct. Yes. I don't think anybody had the Seahawks winning the Super
Bowl. No, I mean I just mean the Eagles record.
Yes. So moving on to the 76ers, we still got a little ways to go here. Camp starts September 29th. The opener is October 20th against the New York Knickerbockers, the defending champions. But the one thing that I did see, which makes me smile a little bit, is that LeBron and Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Maxey are practicing together. So they're out working out, practicing together, running, probably against three people who can't play basketball, and so they can look awesome. But can
you imagine playing 3-on-3 against those guys?
So here's the thing. I have two thoughts on it. One, which I think is the more important thing, is I love it. I think it's great. Let's bond as teammates. Let's kind of get a feel for where we are on the court and all that kind of stuff. Two, though, where's Joel Embiid? Doesn't he want to be there?
We even need Joel Embiid this year. Listen, there's high expectations for the Sixers this year. There's no doubt about it. I was talking to a friend of mine this week, and he's just like, the first thing he said to me, he's just like, "Hey, who's going to be the first one to get hurt? And how fast are the Philly fans going to come down on them when they start stinking it up with championship expectations?" And I did not feed him anything. He brought, and I'm like, those are realistic expectations to have with this team. So listen, I'm glad they're all working out together. Kumbaya, blah, blah, blah. Like I say every year with the Sixers, although it'll be different this year, I'll be excited to watch them. Talk to me in May. Talk to me in May. Yeah.
Exactly. By the way, I don't know if you saw, got the Tyrese Maxey jersey.
I did see that. I was gonna mention that. I like it. I like it. Yeah. I'm glad you picked Maxey of all the different players, because he's just seems like an outstanding human being. B, he's been here through the ups and downs. C, he's certainly elevating his game year on year to be a perennial all-star. So I believe in supporting Mr. Maxey for sure.
All right. So let's just skip on over to
the question's going to be, Schwabi.
Yes.
What Flyer jersey are you going to put up there? Are you ready? Are you ready for a Martone jersey yet?
I don't have a current Flyer. Do
Okay.
you?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't have one. And to be honest, I don't really know who I would get. I mean, I guess you would have to go with Porter Martone, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I think he'd
Either
be good.
Martone or Forster.
Not Couturier. You're not going with Couturier.
No.
Coots.
You know, I mean, like it's a little tough. I mean, it's kind of like it's one of those teams where it's like they have a good team, but they don't really have anybody that's
no
like
Drysdale. No, you don't want a Drysdale jersey yet.
Nah, I think I can wait on the Drysdale.
Okay. All right, we'll see. We'll see. We got time to figure it out.
I'd consider Sanheim.
No, I think he'd be the last one that I would get. Although he's probably the best of the group, but anyway, we'll have to keep our fans guessing on what we're going to do with the Flyers this year.
So the quick question for the Flyers, just so in case anybody wants to know, rookie camp starts September 11th. And September 30th is their opener, and it is against the Pittsburgh Penguins, which makes it a little extra fun.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have try to think about this? Do you have somebody that you are going to say might be a breakout player for the Flyers this season?
Gosh, I've got Patrick Murray chimed in. Thanks, Patrick, for the. Patrick's going Martone or old school.
Or stick to the legends, yes.
Or stick to the legends. I think those are all great ideas. Although, didn't Clark have an E at the end? Not that I should be correcting our listeners.
I think he does have an E at the end, yes.
Nevertheless, I like the Schultze. I might go Dave Schultz. That's a great idea.
I mean, if I'm going old guys, I mean, I might get fun with it and get myself an Ilka Sinisalo.
Ilka. One of the best names in Philly lore, in addition to Sedale Threet.
Yeah, maybe a JJ Daigneault.
I don't know if I could do a French guy.
Now, you know who I really did like. If I don't know why I didn't really have a jersey during this period of time. But I would consider an Eric Desjardins.
I would consider a John Leclerc.
A Leclerc, yeah.
Desjardins, and I don't know. I'd have to sit and think of it. I didn't give much thought to it. Obviously, you would immediately say Martone just based on his small body of work going into the playoffs last year. Right. So that may be a little too much of an easy one.
Yeah, it's a little too easy. Yeah.
I'd like to see Drysdale take another step. I think he earned himself a good contract this year. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to I'll say Drysdale. I don't think it's a real what's the word I'm looking for? Golly, as we're getting old, I forget the words. Provocative. I don't think it's a real provocative thing, but I want to see him continue to be our guy, to lead the power play, and to continue to improve and be that guy we think he can be.
Lemmer says no Lindros jersey.
No, I think listen.
You know what?
I think that's a little too cliche. I think everyone's got a Lindros jersey, and the fact of the matter is that him and his silly concussions cost us Stanley Cups.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing. Like I'll tell you who Lindros is to me. He's the Flyers version of Donovan McNabb. Just like really great player, but never won us anything.
Yeah.
Just kind of like it ended in disappointment.
Yeah.
So,
which is so hard to say about a guy. I mean, both of those guys gave their life to our city and to our team and didn't go anywhere else. I mean, McNabb obviously at the end of his career, but by
the way, Patrick Murray does bring this point up here. There has been some rumblings lately of a Connor McDavid to the Philadelphia Flyers. It's come up in a number of different folks that are kind of close at the scenes, that know what's going on behind the scenes. Look, I don't believe it happens. I just can't see Edmonton getting rid of him at this point.
Yeah, why would they get rid of? Why that'd be like That'd be like the Jaylen Brown thing all over again, except they're not in our division. Why would you give up on one of the best players on earth?
Well, I mean, I just think it's one of those things where, they've gone to the Cup back-to-back years and lost both times with him. Like, to be honest, for all we know, he's probably only like 26 or 27, but that also probably means he's been on their team for like 9 years or something.
Yeah, no, he's been there forever. Yeah.
So, maybe they're thinking about, first of all, we got to pay him, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's due for an extension, not this year, but after next year. So they got to pay him. They also got to pay Leon Draisaitl and, some of their other, big time players. Maybe they just decide we mix it up, and they just kind of say, well, it wasn't happening for us. So we'll see. I mean, I'd love to see something like that happen. But
I'd love to see that 99 in orange and black, baby. Oh, that would be something.
Back to my breakout candidate.
Yes.
Again, I think Porter Martone is just a little too easy. I'm going to go with somebody who might not even be on the team at the start of the year.
Wow.
But
you're going out on a limb.
I am going out on a limb. I'm going to go with that Oliver Bonk.
Well, okay.
Former second-round pick. They brought him up to play like the final game of the season last year, and he scored like 2 goals in the game, I believe. He's got a shot, from the defense. And I just hear really good things about him. Certainly, if for some reason the Flyers were to trade Rasmus Ristolainen, then he's in the top 6. So I don't know. I just sort of get a feeling that he's going to become a player. And that's my breakout star for you.
All right, okay. All right. Oliver Bonk. Who's the other guy that's got the 4-letter last name? I think he's more of an offensive player. I should know this. What is his name?
Alec Bump.
Bump. Yes.
Yep.
All right. I'll take him. He's going to be my breakout for this year.
Okay. All right.
You go Bonk. I'm going Bump.
Okay. Now, Rube, we bring ourselves.
And oh, by the way, if either one of those is the breakout player of the year, whoever chose that player has to go get that jersey.
Okay. All right. If they do become that guy.
Yes. All right. We'll take it.
Okay. All right. So now we're at the part of the show that some folks will say is their favorite part of the show. Specifically, our wives both feel it's their favorite part of the show.
Yeah.
So, Rube, you want to take a shot at introducing it?
Yeah. So we are mainly a sports show, obviously Philadelphia Pro Sports, which we love and cherish, and we'll take to our dying graves with us. But we also know a thing or two about pop culture. And we like to work it into the show to keep it fresh and to expand our audience, if you will. And essentially what it is what we're watching. So you've got all the different streaming channels. You got the movie theater. You've got regular TV. You've got series. You've got limited series. You've got movies. You've got everything. And the way we explain it is like, listen, why don't you when you get home after a long week of work like we do, the last thing you want to do is be, negotiating what you want to watch with your friends or your family or your spouse or your partner. So leave it to us. Leave it to the guys at the Sports Porch. We're going to tell you what we've been watching, and we're going to give you a very direct and real synopsis and critique of whether we liked it or didn't. So we'll either give it 2 thumbs up, we could give it a thumb up and a thumb down, or we'll give it 2 thumbs down. And sometimes, as my father used to say, sometimes it's as important to figure out what you don't like as what you do like. So we're going to take some of those what you don't like off the table, but hopefully what we're watching we've enjoyed, and we'll share it with you. So with that being said, Grant Schwabini, why don't you lead us off?
Okay. I have completed season 1 of Lucky.
Hey, let me ask you. Can I ask you a quick question before you go into your Lucky?
Sure
Did you catch Lucky because it came on, as a preview after Ted Lasso season 4 episodes, or did you find out about it before Ted Lasso?
I don't remember.
Okay. I'll tell
Sorry,
you,
but
we saw it as a preview after Ted Lasso. I'm like, oh, that looks
Okay.
pretty good. So please tell us more.
Yeah, so it's got that lady. I'm drawing a little blank on her name now. It's like Anya Joy something from Queen's Gambit fame.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's in it. Annette Bening is also in it, and there's a few other kind of character actors that are in it. So long story short, Lucky, who is the star of the show, that woman that I just showed you on the screen if you're watching live, she is raised in a dysfunctional family. Her father basically raised her, and her father is a con artist.
Okay.
And so she kind of gets, she's grown up in the world of the con. He would actually use her when she was a kid to, run some of his cons and be a part of it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, fast forward, let's just say she's like 24 years old. She's got a fiance, and there's something that her father's involved with. And she and her fiance come up with this plan to sort of make one big score and kind of get out of the life.
Oh, right? How many times have you heard that plot?
Yep. And basically everything goes haywire. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the people who, that they're trying to steal money from, are basically like mob-like characters. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so essentially what's going on throughout the show is she's trying to sort of stay alive and also kind of get the money to sort of pay it back and sort of save her life and her husband's, fiance's life and all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Her father is in jail, but they communicate through jail.
Okay.
And so, essentially, it's a good story. It's got an ending that you might not see coming, which is always a good thing. And look, it's nonstop action. I mean, it's pretty much from word go. You're glued to the screen, and it's really good. I definitely give it 2 thumbs up. If you like an action thriller, I think you will enjoy it.
I'm excited. Lemmer and I like a good action thriller. So is it a movie or is it a series?
It's a series. It's it's either 8 or 10 episodes. I can't imagine that there would be a season 2, although there could be.
Okay. Got it.
It seems like it ended in the right place.
Okay. All right. Good enough. So Lucky on Apple TV, 2 thumbs up from the Grand Schwabini, and the actress's name is Anya Taylor-Joy. I'd never heard of her before. Yeah. And
did you ever see Queen's Gambit?
Yeah. So she was in that?
Yeah, she was the lead in the Queen's Gambit.
She was the lead.
Yeah.
That was a great show, by the way.
That was a great show.
That was a great show.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up. Right. Okay, got it.
Okay, so Rube, you have watched a movie.
I have. Hail Mary. Project Hail Mary.
Hail Mary. Now, I will tell you, Rube, I have also seen Project Hail Mary. Okay. So I will tell you what I think after you tell me what you think.
Yeah. So I will preface this that I may or may not have been in an altered state when I tried to watch this the first time this weekend. So I had to watch it in 2 sittings because eventually I fell asleep during it, and that has nothing to do with the movie. The movie was it was super interesting, and what I really so here's the premise, right, for everyone listening. The premise is essentially that scientists have discovered that there is something impacting the sun, something called astrophage, and it essentially can survive in the sun, and it's causing the sun to not be as powerful. And all the scientists are like, oh my God, what do we do? What do we do about this astrophase? So of course, They go and find this scientist who was a school teacher at the time named Ryland Grace, who was played by Ryan Gosling. And they somehow or another, this happened really quickly in the movie. And again, it could have been in my state of being, but somehow or another, he went from school teacher to you need to go save the world. And so essentially, the movie is shot such that it starts with him in a spaceship coming out of a medically induced coma. And then it kind of goes back in time to how he got there. And so it kind of flashes forward and back quite a bit. Again, in an altered state, that was a little difficult to follow. However, it turns out that he goes into space. I'm not going to tell everybody what happened when he was out there, but essentially he comes across a life form from another planet that is also being impacted by astrophase. And we could call this other living being an alien. They develop a friendship after they meet in space. They figure out essentially a way to combat astrophase or astrophage. And it's a really kind of heartwarming story about what happens with that relationship, and so on and so forth. You know, it's got a little bit of everything, to be honest with you. It was kind of like that sci-fi thing, which I'm not usually into, but it also had a lot of comedy. I found it really funny to have Ryan Gosling as this kind of dorky doctor trying to teach Rocky the alien, you know, what he's talking about and how he explains and how he communicates. And I thought it was, you know, a nice heartwarming story as well. So overall, I wish I could have seen it in one sitting, but in two sittings. I didn't go in. Listen, this was in the movie theater earlier in the year, and I didn't really pay attention to it until it came out on Prime. And I'm glad I sat down and watched it because I thought it was a really good movie. So I'm giving it 2 thumbs up for all the things I just described, and I'm going to try not to give too much else away. But there was definitely some scenes where you thought perhaps this wasn't going to end well. So all that being said, Project Hail Mary, check it out on Prime. 2 thumbs up from Rube. Schwabi, what did you think about it?
I also give it a big 2 thumbs up.
Okay.
I actually went and I saw it in the movie theater.
Okay.
And you know, it was one of those things where I basically went because, you know, sometimes I will go see a movie because when you go on like the Rotten Tomatoes, like the marks are just so high that you're like, well, this has to be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so I was, you know, but I sort of had like, you know, kind of, you know, I kind of went in with low expectations just because it's kind of like, okay, you know, we've seen this before, you know, you meet an alien in space, you know, that kind of thing, save the world. You know, we've done that 100 times.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I thought it was really, really good. I mean, I thought Ryan Gosling was excellent in it.
I do too.
I thought the way that they did kind of like what the other life form was, I thought that was really well done. I mean, it was like nothing like you've seen before. And I just thought it was really cool, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Did it make you a believer, Schwabi? Did it make you want to believe that there's other life form out there outside of Earth? Because to me, again, might have just been the state I was in. I was like, you know what? How far-fetched could this really be?
Well, I'm sure a lot of it's far-fetched.
You're not buying what I'm selling. All right, I'll have to watch it again.
Now, I mean, look, you know, bottom line is, look, it would be foolish not to think that there's other life out there. Why would we be the only life forms in the universe, right? But I will also say that I've never seen an alien, and until the day that I do, I can't really go all in on it.
Okay, fair enough. I hope we can have a show after, you know, the post game after you do meet an alien. You definitely want to tune in for that, folks.
Sometimes I do actually think, like, could you imagine if our life actually did like become like a movie. Like one day we all did like walk outside and we were like, oh my God, what's that? Like in the sky, you know what I mean?
No,
Like
I never really thought about that.
I do. I think about that sometimes. I'm just like, oh my God, like, what would happen? And like, all I could say is, hey, thank God I got a generator. You know what I mean? I'm already ahead of the game.
Look at you. All right, Schwabi, listen, we got to go. We've kept our audience a long time tonight. And as always, we really enjoy it. Remind everybody where they can follow us and what happens next.
You can follow us on X at Philly Porch, on YouTube at Philadelphia Sports Porch. Remember to subscribe. And you can catch us on Philadelphia Beautiful Facebook page and the Sports Porch Philadelphia Facebook page. Our shows just come up whenever we're going live there, and then you can go back later and watch them as well. And we put everything on a podcast. This will be on a podcast probably within the next 20 minutes. Check it out on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts. Thanks for being with us. And as we get closer to Eagles season, we're really looking forward to going through who is going to win the Super Bowl this coming season and what is the Eagles record going to be. Come back next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central Time. We look forward to seeing you then. Peace out.
Thanks, everybody.